Alright, hello again. My name is Samy and welcome to another edition of my Stream 3 playthrough of Dark Souls, where I will critique and analyze the game as I play the game live. So, right off the bat I want to say that I've had a few false starts here with this, trying to get this stream underway, so at the risk of saying things over and over again, I'm going to hold off on any major explanation and any major happenings in the game until I can get maybe a few solid minutes into the game. Seem to be having a different problem than one I was having like a few weeks ago, because back then my upload speed was kind of shot, whereas here the upload speed seems to be fine in tests, where that was not the case before. It was clearly the upload speed that was the problem. Here it seems to be something else entirely. So I don't know. Well, I lowered the bitrate, and hopefully that means so I'm just gonna do some random stuff for now until a few minutes in, because I don't want to do anything important and then have that lost for archive purposes. So I'm gonna just feed my Lord Soul over to Big Chalice here for now. Kind of stall out what I want to do for this part until I'm more confident about the stability of the stream. If you're in chat, go ahead and let me know if the stream is choppy or not. Hopefully it stays up and doesn't cut out entirely. So I have a soul for the Lord Vessel. I'm going to feed that now, I guess. I don't necessarily have to feed them as I get them, but if I'm going to stall, then sure, I'll do that. What else can I do while I wait? Like, I don't want to go fight a large boss. I almost I was in the middle of fighting a large enemy when it cut out last time, and then I noticed it cut out, so I stopped the stream and went back to the bonfire.
Are you ready? Then we shall
stop the battle, make sure I don't miss it. So in the case that this does go smoothly, I in the last part beat the Grave Lord Nito, and got his Lord Soul, which is, I guess, the very Lord Soul that I fed to the Lord Vessel now. And that makes 2 out of the 4 Lord Souls that I need to collect. Just that snake character there, his name is Kingseeker Frampt, he gave me that mission, that task, to collect all 4 of the Lord Souls to continue on my journey. So 2 more to go, and I thought I would head towards a specific Lord Soul for my 3rd one. I mean, I could head in many different directions, but because I know that there's something in this area, an item that I want, I'm gonna go deliberately head towards this area instead of just, you know, randomly exploring and approaching the game that way. Yeah, I was explaining a lot of this in one of the first parts, but you know, this is a live show, and you know, technical difficulties can happen any time, so I'm just gonna have to deal with that and make sure I can continue the show. It must go on. I'll save a lot of that explanation that I was trying to make in the first few parts, and when I'm more confident that this broadcast can maintain itself. So I'm gonna attempt to fight this big bad dude over here that I was fighting in the last attempt at streaming today, and hopefully the stream does not cut out. I don't want it to miss me beating it. Rather it be on camera and caught live, so that at least I could archive it. And if the stream does cut out, I hope I can just, you know, catch it in time and then make sure I stop the fight and save that for another time. Might be what I have to do. Ooh, that's okay. Well, I ended up dying anyway. That's one thing I have to be careful with, that the way his arm moves. That has happened before. Okay, I'll just remember one thing. Firing from here. Yeah, I didn't return to Firelink only because. All right, Riverton MC said, "Sup, man? Not much. How about you?" As far as the stream, as I was explaining, I was having a little bit of trouble getting it started. I'm not sure, some sort of connection issue. So hopefully it stays smooth and there are no problems here. So I'm gonna rest there to make sure that if I die again, I return to that area. So far, so good with the stream. It seems to be lasting a little bit longer than the first few attempts. So, I don't want to jinx it by saying that, you know, it's probably going to be alright. But I assume that if it can last 10 minutes, it can probably last another half hour to an hour. Level? Okay, what is my level? Here's my stats. Where was that level? Okay, 67 right now. I am in the middle of getting the Lord Souls, and I got 2. The last one I got was the Gravelord Lord Soul. And I guess I am heading in the direction of New Londo right now. For the Lord Soul in... what was that place called? Not the Depths. It was something similar to that name. But yeah, that's the next Lord Soul that I plan to do. For now, I'm going to fight this undead dragon, since it's in the general area. Might as well take that opportunity to fight him. I knew this guy was here, but the reason why I didn't... Okay, you're offering to help. Unfortunately, I am largely keeping this playthrough as like a solo thing. I don't really partake in the co-op element of the game all too often. I really like offering my my help for bosses. Actually, one thing I forgot to do when I did Gravelord boss, I forgot to put my summon side down. I guess it's because it was such a long time since I fought a boss that I didn't think about offering myself for co-op. And I am in the Sunlight Covenant as well. So, yeah, my apologies. I would rather do the game in my playthrough solo, and then as far as everybody else, I'd offer myself a co-op to help them. That's the problem. But thank you very much for the offer. I appreciate that. So this guy seems very formidable, but like the one we saw in the painting, there's you know, very simple pattern. Make sure I don't fill up that meter, as you can see on the screen. I need some, that'd be pretty bad, some extra damage. Okay, I should not have stood there. It doesn't do that move too often, so I didn't expect it, but I am still alive, so here we go. Oh right, the heavy attack on this is not that great. I'm so used to the claymore swinging around that I forgot that I probably shouldn't use the heavy attack rather than back to the katana. It's a very simple pattern. If you observe, you can see that all you need to do is just like guerrilla tactics. That was close. Hit and then run. It is largely a boring way of doing this, but beats the alternative of getting massive damage on me like that. even at a fairly high level, I'm still getting kind of wrecked. Says don't want to co-op, want a PvP. Well, as I was saying, I largely don't engage in like the online elements. Again, thank you very much. That includes like PvP, player on player. I'm just focusing on just the main story. I largely avoid PvP just because I'm not equipped to do that. I've actually never done that, so I would probably fare very poorly. You would probably wreck me. Okay, here we go. You can get these items. You can get these items fairly early on in the game if you know where this guy is. And earlier on, these items are pretty darn strong, but right now, not very useful. Yeah, sorry about, to Riverton in chat that I'm not taking you up on your offer, but yeah, this is largely a single player playthrough that I'm trying to do some analysis on as a sort of let's play thing. It's not really meant to be a PvP sort of focus here. So okay, I managed to get through that entire boss battle without the stream cutting out, so I'm gonna guess that I can continue on. No problem. Alright, so I'm gonna see another familiar face here, pretty sure. Is he around here? Where is he? There he is. Remember earlier on in the game, this was the guy who talked to us, kind of gave us a little bit of direction during those parts, and right now he is hostile. He's attacking us, and he just fell off the ledge. Okay. Attacking us, no questions asked, just straight up hostile. And wondering why that is because, he went as is described in this game, he went hollow. He was already forlorn at the beginning of the game, so he's basically on the brink of going hollow here. And that means he essentially lost his mind after being undead himself. When you're undead, you can't die, and that can take its toll on the mind. And eventually, all these people essentially can't die. Okay, here's the item I was looking for. They go crazy and go hollow. Like every single one of these guys here, down here, they've essentially went hollow. And I think that's largely the justification for a lot of the enemies in the game. A lot of the undead humanoid characters are people who are adventurers like us in this land, who then eventually went hollow and went crazy and are just essentially fodder for any future adventurers like us. It's interesting from a from a moral perspective and like a lore perspective, I would say. So here we see some ghosts. See, you can't actually do damage to them, but if you're paying attention to the items, which you should be, the items we just picked up earlier allow us to actually, yeah, here it is. Already have it equipped. So they are what allow us to damage ghosts here. Normally when I would be playing the game, I would be looking at all these items, reading them as I pick them up. But because I played the game before, I know what a lot of these items do. I am skipping a lot of that stuff that would be, normally be seen in a first playthrough. it might be a bit of a betrayal of what the game is actually like, because if you pick up an item, you always just go here, your screen, and then read what it does. But I think in the interest of time, I'm just not doing that just to make it go forward a little bit faster. So that item is actually, maybe I'll just read that, just so it makes sense a little bit more for you guys. I didn't know I only had 2 of them though. I thought I had more. Anyhow, temporary curse allows engagement with ghosts. So I'm gonna need more of these, I think. There is a vendor that sells them, pretty sure, so might need to actually go back and get that. See an item off in the distance there. Okay, so if I'm paying attention, you can see that there are more ghosts here, so won't go rushing in. We'll be a little bit more careful here. So now I can actually damage the ghosts. They are not too tough, and I'm rewarded with a pretty good item, Power Keeper's Soul. With that in mind, I might actually want to go back to the Firelink, cash that in right now, because super great item that actually make Estus more effective. In interest of time, I will use a Homeward Bone here. I'll get more of those transient curses just to be able to make my way through the area faster as well. So the vendor is up there. I believe she does sell more transient curses, so I'll buy a good amount. Alright, so now that I'm a little bit more confident about the stream holding up, I will maybe make those explanations that I was trying to make in the other parts about how I'm deliberately going to this area because there's an item that I want to get, and that's not necessarily reflective of the first playthrough. Actually, I did discuss this as I was talking about the transient curse. It's similar in that regard. It may not be reflective of a player playing their first playthrough because I'm not really exploring the game randomly as they would. But that is not necessarily a bad thing because of the very nature of games being transformative. Okay, let's purchase... Yes, she does have them. They're pretty expensive. I can only buy 4 right now. Okay. And what does transformative mean in terms of games? Compare them to other types of media, other types of non-interactive media. They are largely static in that the words on the page of a book or the scenes in a movie are always the same, no matter how many times you watch them. Whereas with an interactive media like a game, you can change your interaction between playthroughs, or the game can offer different interactions between different people. Comparing to each other, they would look different. And yet the game is still a game. If you change the words of a book, or change a scene in the movie, it essentially becomes an entirely different movie. Whereas a change in the choice for a player in a game between playthroughs does not change the essence of the game. The game essentially is meant to be transformative because of its interactivity. So with that in mind, my foreknowledge of the item in this area and me wanting to go there because of that isn't necessarily a betrayal of the essence of the game. That's like a totally valid way of playing the game. Now, as I mentioned in the previous attempt, I also, I guess I have to repeat that as well, there can be problems when it tries when that transformative nature of games can interfere with, say, a story, if the player knows something about an area ahead of time, how does that reconcile with the character's knowledge? Like, why would the character
That you have
play the
agreed
game
to link the fire.
that way?
I thank you sincerely.
Or, well, not play the game. Why would the character approach the area that way if the character technically doesn't have that foreknowledge?
Can die human. I am powerless, but I will do all that I can. Please, save us all. Please.
Well, that was some new dialogue. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. Probably because I didn't talk to her as I've, this late in the game. Let's reinforce that Estus flask using this Firekeeper soul I just found. So now I have a good number of these transient curses. I should be able to get further in this area. At least, to cover what I need to do today. Not sure how much longer I can stream today, but I do want to make some decent progress here. So last bit about the transformative nature of the game. It's worth noting that my playthrough, I've always said that I played the game before, so this is largely reflective of someone who has played the game before and would have that knowledge. So because I know that there's an item here, and I'm choosing to approach this area first rather than, say, choosing a different Lord Soul in a different area of the game, that doesn't necessarily make it a tainted playthrough. It's just a playthrough from the perspective of someone who has played the game before. And as far as the foreknowledge conflicting with the story, if there's any dissonance there, with this game I would say there isn't all that much of a worry about that, because the world is so open and because I can just head in any direction I want. You could say that the character here might not know to go to this area. Like I do, but her choosing it at random, it ends up benefiting her in the long run. And she just got like a lucky break. So in terms of motivation from the story, which isn't all that important in a Dark Souls game to begin with, we could say it's like that. In other games, problems can arise where player foreknowledge can cause some like logical strangeness to happen as far as character choices. Like, say you're playing a stealth game or a horror game that you've played before, you might know that there's a jump scare around the corner, but your character technically is not supposed to know that. So how, if you prepare yourself for that jump scare around the corner, it makes sense for you as the player, but why is your character doing it? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The character shouldn't know about that jump scare ahead of time. I'd even be demonstrating that here, these ghosts. Like, I knew that there's going to be this like large enemy of runes, so I naturally went in and went back to where like the enemies would cluster around this door and give me an advantage in the fight. You can probably just justify that with like, oh, the character is very quick-witted and can deal with these ghosts. Can deal with the situation very quickly. I guess that's fine. It's from that perspective. But yeah, I guess as far as an example of the transformative nature of a game interfering with the story, causing some sort of dissonance, Dark Souls is not the greatest example of that. To demonstrate that, it's actually built into the game that you're going to be heading in many different directions and having a lot of different choices anyway, so that by its very nature minimizes any chance of dissonance in that regard. So it's actually beneficial that the game would do that. Oh, see a ghost kind of popping itself out over here. That would have been it's a nice little trap. Parrying dagger, okay. So I'm not sure how much further I can get in this segment here, because I want to get far enough to make some respectable progress. I actually don't think that there's a bonfire here, I want to say. So I'll basically be going in from... Oh, more transient curses, that's really good. Going in from Firelink every time I die. But just, you know, reacquainting myself with the area will allow me to get through much more efficiently, much quicker. Okay, I see a ghost up there, so it's probably she's gonna probably drop down. I'll make my way past. Yep, there we go. Another large soul. Is she gonna drop down or what? I'm gonna make good use of these transient curses while I have it. I don't want to waste. Yeah, luckily I'm doing a fair amount of damage to them. Oh, another trap. Another, they must be below. Probably would have spotted them if I looked from over here. Yeah, now they're rising up. You see this area, though, I guess, observing based on off of these specific enemies, we'll see that there'll probably be a lot more of those ghosts floating through walls, getting at you by surprise. They'll be surprising you. I suspect there'll be a lot of that throughout this area. I remember playing this area the first time, and I did largely feel like scared. Again, like there was an earlier part in the game. Yeah, the catacombs with all the skeletons that I was playing a few parts ago. Very not survival horror-y, but very creepy and scary to, you know, to make your way through. So I was like very cautious, feeling that tension of this area. Very well done in that regard. And yeah, it works very well if you don't know that there are ghosts around every corner. Okay, more ghosts coming from over there. Probably don't want to. Oh right, my transient curse actually ran out. That's what happened there. Doing no damage to them. I'll make one more run through. I'm not sure how much time I have. I'll make one more run through. Let's see how far I can get in this part. I would have gone further if my internet wasn't having issues today. I mean, as far as I can go, barring any future internet issues. We did get to see a large enemy, me fighting the undead dragon. Although it wasn't necessarily an exciting fight, just because of the very nature of that pattern. Very simple pattern of fighting that. But I can definitely say that I've made progress, at the very least, and most likely get to the boss of this area in the next segment. If I can't even if I can't make it much further today. I would say the next segment, there's a pretty good chance I can make it all the way to the end. Okay, transient curse first. Still have to deal with these guys, but I can approach them much faster than before. And because I know where they are, I can much more effectively use this transient curse, rather the time it takes. Okay, it does run out after a certain while. Alright, so best way to do this, I think, is to push them one at a time, bottleneck them. Again, enter the room and then head back. Aw, dang it, that's not... Don't hit the wall. Okay, over here. Any more? I don't think so. Just gonna move on and make the most of this first curse here. Okay, I don't need to get those items, so that'll also save some time. I don't need to deal with that one. There are a few more over here, I know that. Could rush over to my retrieval, but I think I'm going to play it safe. Let's see where... Oh, there they are. I'll get my retrieval while I have a good shot. There we go. Retrieval! They don't seem all too interested in actually fighting me, it seems. Alright, next up. These guys. Okay, there's one over there. First time we've had to deal with enemies popping through the wall like this. They're definitely ghosts. Again, same rules apply. As long as I'm careful and cautious, I can deal with anything, pretty much. I wanted to move up a little bit further up so I can actually hit them. Okay, that's one. Alright, that's... I don't have to worry about those guys anymore. Okay. Let's look what's in this creepy fortress in the ghost town. Guess I'm going down first, sure, why not? Ah, there she is. Looks like I'm strong enough to do... As long as I get a nice glancing blow, then should be fine. I can take him out in one shot. It's probably the case where if you go rushing into any room, if you haven't learned anything about Dark Souls and you continue rushing into rooms, then they can easily gang up on you, and that's how they'd end up killing you. Another way, I guess, is like we saw before, me falling off the ledge. Because I forgot that the transient curse was a temporary thing, and I need to replenish it. Okay. Right. Cautiously enter. There we go. See any pop out right away. Basically get the gist of this area, I think. Me playing it right now, it's probably a lot less, seemingly a lot less scary and creepy than it actually is, just because I've mentally prepared for this area. I know where the enemies are. Oh, Transient Curse is out. Perfect time. Okay. There we go, it's back. And I can damage the areas. The ghosts again. Alright, are any of her friends around? Oh, yep, there we go. It would be crazy if the ghosts were invisible as well. That'd be insane, I think. Like, if you didn't do the Transient Curse, then the ghosts would also be invisible and just be getting hit by these invisible enemies. I think that would make it a little bit more exciting, since you already have to use the Transient Curse to kill these things in the first place. Adding that would make it much more creepy, in my opinion. Ooh, almost fell for that one. I think I would suspect they would be around the corner of any item. Yeah. See an item, there's probably one behind a wall or in the ceiling or something. That is the trick to this area. So we saw a ladder over there. Check that out. Just realized I have 19 blasts. I think that's because I just cashed in that Barkeeper soul. On the very roof of the building now. See a nice familiar sight here. Basically what I looked like for several hours of the game. He's wearing the same clothing.
Well, this is a surprise. I get few visitors, save for ghosts. You have the Lord Vessel. Very impressive. I know exactly what your intentions are. You seek the four kings whom I guard over. This is the key to the seal.
Key to the seal. That's something that we need to continue on.
The four kings slumber in the deepest chamber of the ruins. Use this key to break the seal and open the floodgates. Oh, and do not forget, the dark wraiths reside in a dark void called the Abyss.
Ah, the Abyss, that's what I was trying to think of before.
Although, long ago, the knight Artorius traversed the Abyss. If you can find him and learn from him, the Abyss may prove surmountable.
Alright, so the Abyss is ultimately where I want to head next. That is where the next Lord Soul is, and as Kingseeker Fram told us at this point a long time ago, anybody else probably would have forgotten that the Lord Soul of Gwyn was split and then given to, or was it split? Either way, it was given to the four kings, and that's the boss that we have to defeat in this area. As this guy just described to us, the four kings have the next Lord Soul.
Hello there.
Let's see what else he says.
The key to the seal is now in your hands. I will help you in any way possible.
He can help us. If we're cursed, we can have it broken. Oh, he also says transient curses. That's okay. Oh, he sells them for much cheaper too, right? I think so. I'll buy 5 more. Probably won't even need 5 more, but, you know, never know. Just in case. So I spotted an item over here. And there's an item over there. Let's try to get everything as per usual. Exploring the area, might as well try to get everything. Is there any way we can get down from here? No, I think it's blocked all the way around. So I'll have to approach it from a different direction. Seen that many times in the game before. The game will give you a glimpse at an item from a vantage point that you can't get to it directly. You just have to keep it in mind. Try to get to it from a different direction. So there was a way I did not go yet over here. Let's go down that way now. This looks like this might be the right way to get that item. Yeah, this seems about right. I just have to roll over there. You can see this area is fairly large. It's kind of dark to see, but once again, I'm impressed by the size of this game, especially since this is like a last-gen game. It was on 360 and PS3. I am still surprised just by how large the environments are, and you know, next to that, how large the overall world of this game is. So we're getting that item next. Let's go ahead and do that. This is the way to get out of here. Drop it in there. Bring a sacrifice. I think I have a bunch of those at this point. Not sure if I'm ever going to use them. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I get to a major point in any items or not item, ghosts. See an item, there's probably a ghost around. I don't know. Maybe I killed them already. Okay, no ghosts. That's interesting. So he said I should lower the water. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to look for that. And then I think at that point I will call it a stream. And everything else I'll do in the next portion. Another item. You can see down there is the Valley of the Drakes, which is right outside of New Londo. Approached it from the other direction. Game likes doing this a lot. Dark Souls does love to do this quite a bit, where lets you see areas you've been to from a lot of different perspectives. Revisit them from different directions, and that's largely, you know, it's a lot of the joy of exploring this game is approaching, you know, discovering ways to approach familiar areas from totally new perspectives and directions, and just discovering how interconnected this world is. This is yet another example we're seeing here. So instead of just marveling at the game, just continue on and get that next objective done, or what I believe is the next objective. Does not move right now, probably because the water is there. I bet the key opens this thing. Yes, it does. Alright, so I'm guessing that this will lower the water. So there are lore reasons as to why this area is flooded, and it has to do with the abyss that protector wearing the crimson clothing describing before. Basically, this civilization, and like I always want to refer to a YouTuber named Vidya, who basically a lore keeper. He has researched a lot of the lore of this game by looking at items and such. So I definitely want to refer you to him for a more detailed explanation of how this works, or how the lore has affected this game. Basically, yeah, the civilization here, one of its denizens went into the darkness, the abyss, as it's called, and he went crazy. And when you go to the abyss, you become, I guess, like crazy in like a super powerful way. And this began affecting all of the other citizens of New Londo here. And so to contain the effects of the abyss, what the protectors did, I believe it was the Four Kings that did it. Anyway, watch the Vati video. They flooded the area to contain them. Essentially, the Dark Wraiths, the enemy that he was warning us about, came from the abyss. So they flooded the area to contain the Dark Wraiths and the effects of the abyss, make sure it doesn't spread throughout the land. Now we've actually we've been forced to, I think I'm going to Bone Home here and save everything for the next part. Forced to lower the water and let loose the Dark Wraiths once again, just because the next Lord Soul is in this area, and the only way to get it is to lower the water. So we've unleashed an evil, so that we can continue forward, and hopefully, when our quest is done, it'll take care of everything. It'll negate that evil that we've unleashed, the Dark Wraiths. In any case, I'm gonna save all that stuff, the fight with the next boss and the Lord Soul we're gonna collect from that one, as well as the item I want to collect in this area, all for the next part. And for now, I think I do have to cut it short. I apologize because I did try to start earlier, but then because of internet issues, I couldn't get the stream running until just recently, so that cut into my overall streaming time. So this part may end up when in archive form on YouTube. It'll end up being seemingly short. That's only because internet issues caused me to start later. In any case, if you tuned in, thank you very much for watching. You can follow me over at Yamster Sam on Twitter, and you can also watch archives of this Stream Theory playthrough of Dark Souls over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/YamsterSam, all the same username as my Twitch. So, with that, I will bid you adieu and hope to see you next time. Later.